welcome back to Allie's Kitchen. Today, if you didn't already know, is the Jewish New Year called Rosh Hashanah. I'm not Jewish, but I always love researching other people's religion and cultures because you always find out new cool things. And when I did a little research, I found out that it's sometimes a ritual or tradition for people to make honey cakes and for Rosh Hashanah. So I'm going to be making a honey cake. Normally honey cakes have an instant coffee mix or some sort of coffee inside the mix, but I'm not going to be doing that today, so this is a little twist. I'm going to be making this honey cake with orange zest and orange juice. So it's different from your traditional Rosh Hashanah cake, but hey, you might impress your friends with it. So let's get started. Here's what you'll need to get started. Some vegetable oil, salt, 4 eggs, some white sugar, all-purpose flour, honey, baking soda, baking powder, and you'll use about a cup of orange juice and the zest of 1 orange. I'm actually using a clementine, but don't tell anyone. And then you'll need some pan to grease your 9 by 13 baking pan. You can also, what I just thought of, is make honey cake cupcakes with a cool frosting. I just thought of that, so let me make it first and then I'll tell you if it's good. You also need cinnamon for this recipe, I forgot to mention that. Now we're gonna sift our dry ingredients. First, add 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then add a ½ teaspoon of salt. Next, add a ½ teaspoon of baking soda. Add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Finally, add 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. Now sift your dry ingredients and set them aside. In our mixer, we're now going to combine our honey, oil, eggs, sugar, and orange zest. First, add 1 cup of sugar in your mixing bowl. Add 1 cup of honey. And add 1/2 of a cup of vegetable oil. Now add 4 eggs. Finally, add 2 teaspoons of grated orange zest to the mix. And I'm using a clementine, but that's just because I didn't have an orange. Now mix all of the wet ingredients together. Now we're going to add our flour mixture and our orange juice into the wet mixer. Now just remember to keep rotating between flour and orange juice until both are completely incorporated into the mix. Don't forget to take a minute to stop the mixer and scrape the bowl so we know that all the flour is getting in the mix. Now that we have our mix fully mixed together, it's time to take it over to our baking pan so we can pop this in the oven. Here we have our greased 9 by 13 baking pan. And we're going to pour in our cake batter. Now we're going to pop our cake in an oven that was preheated to 350 degrees. I put our cake in the oven, which was preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to let it cook for 40 to 50 minutes. While my cake was cooling, I thought of a great idea at the last minute. I thought I could put an orange juice glaze on the cake. So if you'd like to do this too, all you have to do is melt a 1/4 cup of butter in a small saucepan over medium heat with 2/3 a cup of sugar and 1/3 a cup of orange juice. Let it sit on the heat for about 2 minutes, and then we'll put it on the cake. But remember, the cake must be completely cool before we put the glaze on. After allowing my cake to completely cool on a cooling rack, I put a piece of parchment paper under the cooling rack, and now it's time to pour on my glaze. You can pour on the glaze all over the cake like I did.